Consistent. This is the third in the series of annual national conferences organized by the Department of Political Science. The department has lived up to its expectation and made the Faculty of Management Sciences first among equals. Whenever the faculty sneezes, the university catches cold. And this is one event that shows the fact that the Faculty of Management Sciences is a trailblazer.
He's been a friend of our department. He's someone we respect so much. Anytime, any day we call him, he answers our calls. In fact, the invitation for this program I sent to him on Thursday, and today he's here with us. And that's why we always respect him and regard him as friend of our department.
Our chief host,
ladies and gentlemen of the press, I welcome all of you to this our third hybrid annual national conference. It is my honor and privilege to welcome all of you to this very important, conference. It is an annual event that we organize by the department, and we feel it's one of the ways we can contribute our quota towards the development of the society. In academics, that is what we have to give. And as a department, we have actually made it a duty that on an annual basis, we organize national conferences on key issues that have bearings on the life of the people, and part that as our own way of contributing to nation building. I thank you most sincerely for coming, and it is my favorite prayer that Allah that brought all of you safely to this place will take you back to various destinations successfully. And I wish you a very fruitful stay and deliberation. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. To welcome you all to this third international hybrid annual national conference with the theme Leadership, Democracy and Nigeria's National Development. This is an annual event making the third of its kind, organized by the Department of Political Science, Faculty of Management Science of this great university. The organizers of this theme, of this conference, carefully selected the theme of the conference, Leadership, Democracy and Nigeria's National Development. In our current situation, I'm sure the participant, and in particular the guest, a special guest of honor or the keynote speaker, will do justice to this theme of the conference by x-raying issues of leadership, democracy, and Nigeria's national development. And it is our expectation that at the end of this conference, participants will get a meaningful insight of the impact of democracy on leadership and the impact of leadership on Nigeria's national development. Because the first one is about democracy. Then when you get democracy in order, you have the leadership. Then the leadership, the expectation is purposeful leadership should impact on Nigeria's national development. I believe the speakers, the guest speaker, the lead speaker, presenter, and others will do justice with the kind of caliber of speakers here. I'm sure the participant will get the best out of this conference. Finally, I wish to express the university management's gratitude to the organizers of this conference for keeping to their expectation as a department by annually organizing this type of event. This is a forum where researchers will share, will network on the outcome of their individual research and the way forward in our journey to national development. To this end, I wish you a fruitful discussion, a fruitful engagement, and wish that at the end of this conference, better outcome will have as a result of the deliberations and the papers to be presented. Thank you all. You are most welcome. Today to welcome you to the third annual National Conference of the Department of Political Science. This is indeed a moment of reflection, a renewed purpose for our department, our university, and the entire academic community. Our gathering today represents a shared commitment to scholarship, dialogue, and national development. It signifies our collective resilience and belief in the transformative power of knowledge. It is in that spirit that I warmly welcome you all. First and foremost, on behalf of the Department of Political Science, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to the leadership of our university under the able visionary and guidance of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Muazu Musa Abubakar. No doubt, Professor Muazu's commitment to academic excellence provided the enabling environment that makes this gathering possible. Your leadership is not only inspiring, but exemplary. And we're indeed fortunate to have you as our Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir, for your support and encouragement. Values of scholarship, discipline, and progress that you champion so passionately. This year's conference comes at a critical time in our national journey. The theme addresses issues in the literature on democracy and Nigeria's national development, but serve as a reference point for policymakers, development partners, and security agencies. Let me appreciate our keynote speaker, Professor Tahib Joda, lead paper presenter, Professor Usman Khan, and Professor David Mobel, who despite their tight schedule accepted our invitation. We thank you for your service to the department and humanity at large. Let me extend our deepest gratitude to the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, His Excellency, Dr. Dauda Lawal, for his outstanding leadership and continued support to our department. Your Excellency, sir, your administration's dedication to rebuilding the socio-political fabric of Zamfara State has not gone unnoticed. Your investment in education, infrastructure, and youth development signal a new era of hope and possibilities for our dear states. We in the Department of Political Science recognize the courage it takes to live in such a challenging times. And we commend your achievement, particularly in security, infrastructure, health, and education. Your Excellency, your support for this conference demonstrates your belief in the intellectual engagement as a means of addressing social issues. We thank you and look forward to continued collaboration between the Department of Political Science and Zamfara State Government. Equally, our sincere appreciation to the Secretary to the State Government, Malam Abubakar Nakwada, for his role in facilitating a strong synergy between the Department of Political Science and the state government. We thank you for your support. It may also interest the audience to note that the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, the Secretary to the State Government, and the Permanent Secretary cabinet affairs are all political scientists by training. We are also honored and humbled by the presence and moral support of our respected traditional rulers, particularly the emirs of Gusau, Orenamoda, and Kotarbush. Our royal fathers, we recognize and deeply appreciate your role in maintaining unity, peace, and security in our communities. At a time when the state, and indeed the nation, is grappling with numerous social and security challenges, your wisdom, patience, and leadership have been crucial in calming tensions, preserving cultural heritage, and promoting peaceful coexistence. Your support for this academic event underscores the role of traditional institutions not only as custodians of history, but also as critical stakeholders in nation building. We remain grateful for your presence and continued collaboration. Distinguished participants, your presence here today, many of you traveling across the long distances, is not just commendable, but heroic. We acknowledge the security challenges that continue to affect various parts of our nation. Yet, you have chosen to honor this academic calling, demonstrating your commitment to knowledge and to the search for solutions for most of our pressing political and social issues. Let me say from the depths of my heart, we see you, we value you, and we thank you. As a special word of thanks to the Chairman Conference Planning Committee and his team for your wonderful job done. You have worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Your dedication and passion, as well as professionalism, is no doubt commendable. I say a big thank you to our sponsors, partners, technical staff, university security units, postgraduate and undergraduate students, and all those who have contributed to the planning and execution of this conference. As we proceed to the opening sessions of the panel, I urge you to keep your minds open and our discussion respectful. Let this be more than a meeting of academics. Let it be a space where new ideas are born, nurtured, and deployed for the betterment of our society. Once again, I thank you all for being here. May this third annual national conference be impactful, transformative, and
Of Zamfara State, His Excellency Dauda Lawal. The remarks I'm going to present here are entirely my remarks. Therefore, any shortcomings or misrepresentations are mine and mine alone. Therefore, permit me to first and foremost convey the sincere felicitations and well wishes of the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, who is unavoidably absent on official engagements, to this August gathering that is convened to deliberate on the well-important theme of democracy, leadership, and Nigeria's national development. Today's world and all activities involved in its day-to-day nuances revolve around the above three words. I do not intend to dwell much on the meanings or definitions or types of these words, that is, democracy, leadership, or what is national development. That is the express preserve of the academics, intellectuals with diverse knowledge and experiences in different areas of human endeavor. I truly feel the positive energy and passion and spirit of optimism in this great hall. And we will need this pool of energy, creativity, and passion being exhibited right here and now to set the world on course for a more sustainable future. In this dispensation, I have met with numerous youth groups, students associations, and young leaders, and have always been struck by their abundant talent, depth of knowledge, and aggressive ambition to create a better world. With new forms of technology and interactions, this generation of youth stands a better opportunity for more open, cosmopolitan, and connected existence than any previous generation. For these reasons, I am enthusiastically confident that we'll be able to do what my generation has not been able to accomplish through better leadership and good governance in a sustained democratic setting. Today, leadership and governance are extremely complex. Violent conflicts, terrorism, extremism, banditry, kidnappings, cattle rustlings, intercommunal clashes, famine, political polarization, economic inequality, climate change, and many other challenges are overstretching the very fabric of our cohesion as societies, states, and the nation. While trying our possible best to address and mitigate these challenges, I deem it expedient to say to you, as products of this digital and technological world, finding lasting solutions to this complex global challenges is the difficult inheritance we will leave to you as our students, as future leaders, and those who are going to drive this country to the promised land. But I remain optimistic about the future and your ability to positively influence the tide in this our modern world. Distinguished personalities, it should be noted that administration in Nigeria is constantly under severe pressure, not only to deliver on the myriad of promises made to the citizens, but also to achieve the international benchmarks for developmental progress in tune with global trends. And the three key areas in which this pressure is more pronounced and most seriously exerted are the exhibition of quality and purposeful leadership, provision of good governance, and the sustenance of democratic principles. To stem the tide of moral decadence in our country, there is an urgent need for an ethical and purposeful leadership in all areas of our endeavors. In this regard, we must all agree that the challenge of leadership and governance in our society bedevils both the public and private sectors. Whereas it is easy to point accusing fingers at the public sector as being devoid of ethical leadership, I make bold to assert this morning that the huge deficit is on both sides of the divide of politics and economy, public and the private sectors. In fact, it is fair to assert that this deficit mutually reinforces each other. The present administration in the past state, under the leadership of the indefatigable governor, His Excellency Dauda, is determined to fulfill all principles of leadership, democratic tenets, and good governance. Under his watch, so many positivities have been achieved in the state in the areas of good governance and delivery of dividends of democracy. By declaring a state of emergency in education and health, the two sectors have witnessed transformations beyond imagination. Infrastructural development, good policies and programs, sound financial management, as well as administrative discipline initiated by his administration have improved and positively impacted on the livelihood of the state citizenry. For the young and vibrant academicians here present, who are the intellectuals and students of this great institution, the Federal University of Gusau, I encourage you to stand up for a more equal, just and egalitarian society that provides opportunity and prosperity for all of us. While globalization has created unprecedented wealth, inequalities have also grown tremendously. Today, just eight individuals own same amount of wealth as the poorest half of the global population. You can see how the inequalities are being bred. In this developed and developing world, therefore, polarization and fragmentation in society are rising, while trust in institutions is eroding. Populist and xenophobic groups are taking advantage of people's fears to reject diversity and pluralism. These evils we must fight to a standstill with every ounce of our academic and intellectual prowess. To our students of this remarkable institution and your colleagues in other institutions of learning and elsewhere, you have the opportunity to become the leaders we need you to be. So put up your thinking caps and deploy your remarkable energies, vision and passion in the service of our people, society and nation. I sincerely and strongly count on you to build a more sustainable future for all of humanity. At this juncture, I would like to convey His Excellency, the Executive Governor of the Forest State, Dauda Lawal's donation of the sum of 5 million naira for the successful convening of today's conference. May the Almighty Allah continue to bless, guide, and protect us all. Wassalamu alaikum.
These are interrelated processes because as democracy improves through good leadership, the level of good democratic governance increases, and socioeconomic indicators such as GDP growth rate, per capita income, human development indices, etc., improve remarkably as well.
Making money, which is generally referred or invariably referred as political brandagisms. It is on this basis we move forward that the paper now decided to address and look into some of the key questions that are pertinent and apposite to this discussion today. One of the questions read out, how has leadership shaped Nigeria's democratic existence? On this basis, the conference was called for. Call in the essence to address certain problems and at the same time to ensure that all communiques, discussions, ideas that will be elicited here from various presenters will enable us to harness and at the same time articulate ideas that will move the country forward and at the same time to position the country among the international community of nations. For us to properly construe the paper, it is compartmentalized to certain segments. The first aspect of the paper look at the general introduction. It conceptualized the three variables: leadership, democracy, and national development. It also looked at some theoretical framework, or what we can simply refer as postulation, that will enable us to address the complex issue of the two variables when synthesized together to produce what we expected as a national development. It moved forward by looking at the sentences and applicability of this theory to enable us to understand what the nitty-gritties of the paper or the title is trying to address. Now, the applicability or synthesizations of these ideas will enable us at the same time to reposition our ideas and at the same time to look at those underlying factors, either external or internal or generated within the country, to address what we call the challenges of democracy. And likewise at the same time, it also looked at leadership, democracy, development outcomes. What are these outcomes? The positive outcome, the negative outcome. Then it looked further at the findings. What are the findings that were elicited from the research one has subjected himself to fine-tune solution to the Nigerian problems? And it looked further to the conclusion as well as some recommendation that are highly proactive and if actually adhered strictly to it, will assist us greatly in proper implementation of those policies to address the Nigerian challenges vis-a-vis leadership, democracy, and national development. The paper commences with the general observation, general introductions. It makes a comparison by making an analysis with what is obtainable in Germany during the rulership of Konrad Adenauer. The rulership of Adenauer during the first World War in Germany, he was able to restructure the government and ensure that the government, the 3RS policy that was introduced by Willie Wilson at that time, was able to be utilized through the good leadership being established by the people to ensure that the country was repositioned, particularly on the issue of social and economic aspect of the people's life. We equally look at what was happening in Japan after the Second World War. How has those two areas been affected by the nuclear protocol as a result of the war? What role were the leaders of those countries playing, particularly in the destruction of the kingdom of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We will look at that. We come back to Africa and look at Botswana. We realize that it is only the Botswana democratic governance as well as that of South Africa were able to make a little stride toward democratizations of Africa. And the record was still lingering, and with the little minds of high level of corruption, sophisticated poverty in the area, but still they were able to manage their country. In comparison with Nigeria, we realize Nigeria is an abysmal failure when it comes to democracy. Most of these issues have been cited and read out by Professor Atayu Jenga, and we realize we're in the same page as he said. Nigeria
menene kuka lura ka wannan kalubale na matsalolin Najeriya?
Farko dai mun lura akwai matsala ta rashin shugabanci. Wannan idan muka yi la'akari da kuma matsayin Najeriya, idan muka haɗa ta da takwarorin ta abin da ya shafi matsala ta cikin da shafi mata na duki, sannan muka zo muka kalli shugabannin da ba ƙasar ce gaban su ba, kawai kansu ne gaban su. Shi yasa muke ta kallo ko da yaushe akwai buƙatar mu canja tunani game da demokradiyyar, musamman abin da ya shafi kuɗaɗen gudanar da ita. Yau ta zama da kusan wani hannun jari yan siyasa ke zuba kuɗi da ƙarshe da sun cimma mulki su yi tare da za su ci. Ina ganin ya kamata mu kalli kanmu, mu kalli kuma ƙasa, ba abin da ya shafi mu kanmu da iyalanmu ba. Mu gane cewa ci gaban ƙasar nan yana da alaƙa da ci gaban kowanne, kuma rugujewar ƙasar yana da alaƙa da kowace da irin gudunmawar da kowanne mai bayar wani ci gaban da kuma rugujewar ta. What I would like it about democracy has come to stay, because for now there's no alternative. So I think the best for us is to look at democracy in its totality and the way we practice it, and see how best can we improve it. And I think what I would like it about it, not just democracy, I think every system of governance is about just two key things. One is security and welfare. And I think as a Nigerian today, living in Nigeria, you don't need to be told that we have a lot of security challenges and we have a lot of welfare crises. So I think we decided, let's just look at it. Since this system has no alternative, how best can we improve this system? I think one of the key ways to improve it is to assemble this expert together, look at this issue of democracy, look at this issue of leadership, and see where do we get it wrong and how can we improve looking at our deficiencies. But I think it is also important to understand that there is a big correlation between democracy and leadership, because obviously democracy is about self-governance, and of course if you have a governance crisis, you need to ask yourself the question, where did I get it wrong and how best can I fix my wrongs so that I can make a better life. So looking at almost all the indices in terms of poverty, in terms of corruption, in terms of insecurity, in terms of arms trafficking, in terms of drugs trafficking, Nigeria is always on the top. And we ask this question, how can we address and minimize these issues? We decided, can we bring experts together? Let's look at the correlation between leadership and democracy, and of course, national development. Of course, these concepts are interlinked and are intertwined with one another, and of course, one leads to the other. And we say, let's just look at it and see how best can we address these issues, these deficiencies that are probably going to be identified, and how best can we make a recommendation. security agencies, to the policy makers, and to the political leaders.
So, sir, what do you think?
One of our co-mandates as lecturers or as academics is nothing other than teaching, research, and community service. And I think part of this is, I think for me, part of the community service. Time to time, we look at national issues, bring together academics from different parts of the world, brainstorm, and come up with a position, kind of way forward. I think that is very important for us as a nation and as political scientists. And of course, like I've always said, whether we like it or not, democracy today has no alternative. The only good we can do for ourselves is to look at our democracy and see how best can we improve this democracy. How best can we improve our leadership? And how best can we improve our leadership recruitment? That is very pertinent and that is very important for us. The issue is not about governance, it's about the political will of the political leaders to implement what we have been recommending. Ours as academics is to advise government, is to come up with recommendations, but I think the implementation is squarely on the government. So I think what we do is to organize this conference, bring stakeholders from different sectors, brainstorm, and give our recommendations to government. And I think this is where we need the civil society organization to push pressure on the government to implement some of these recommendations.
All right, sir. What is your expectation at the end of this conference?
I think I expect to see new ideas, new knowledge, new dynamics in which we look at all these issues, these challenges we deal in Nigeria, particularly security and welfare, and see how best can we attain the status of what Prof. Jega called good democracy. But I think beyond that, we also need to bring civil society together, the non-governmental organizations, and to push pressure to mount pressure on the government and particularly the political leadership to say, look, enough is enough. We need to change these dynamics and we need to bring something new to the populace so that at least we can have what we call good governance. Nigeria, musamman abin da ya shafi democracy governments.
And until leadership is in place, national security will continue to lack remedy. The only problem in Nigeria is leadership, not resources. Nigeria is blessed with both human and material resources. The challenge we are having in Nigeria is what? Leadership. We need, what we call leaders with courage, who are not self-centered, they are leaders who have the fear of God, leaders who have heart. I get it, I'll be able to follow the affairs of men in the right direction. Like I said earlier, Nigeria is blessed with both human and material resources. But the challenge we have is leaders. Who are the leaders that will be able to move the country forward? For instance, if you look at it, across the 50 provinces of Nigeria, there is no region also in Nigeria that is not blessed with human and material resources. Why the issue of poverty continues in the country? And that is why we say that in all, bad leadership is the way of development in Nigeria. This is because Nigeria is the most blessed country in Africa and one of the blessed in the world. But we are facing severe poverty because of bad governance, as a result of bad leadership. And that is why we always see that poverty is neither inevitable nor divinely ordained, but it arises out of the social and economic conditions in which we live. Because after the Industrial Revolution, it has become possible for the state or a nation to increase, production to an extent that poverty will be abridged. But the economically dominant class refused to do that because by doing that, it increases their ability to have and have. And that's why you see that people that not even know what is leadership in Nigeria today call themselves leaders because of what? Politics has been monetized, it has been commercialized. Okay? If you have your money, you become a leader. And that's why we are not getting it right as far as Nigeria is concerned.
So that's where the blend of the followership also comes.
Yeah, and that is why sometimes in some of my writings, I classify poverty into three segments. We have what we call poverty of material living. Poverty of material well-being is what we all know that yes, absence of socioeconomic well-being, maybe good food, shelter, clothing is what we know. There's what we also called poverty of ideas, which is what leaders in Nigeria are suffering. They don't know what is good leaders, what is good ideas, sorry, that they can use in piloting the affairs of men in the right direction. And we have what we call poverty of courage. The people themselves have become psychopaths. Leaders are not doing what they're supposed to do, but we keep presenting them. We keep praising them. It's only in Nigeria you see that the governor will pay salary people praising him. What is he elected to do? The governor of the building will people praising him. What is he elected to do? The governor of the hospital will praising him. That is what you are elected to. When there's no problem, you will not be there to solve the problem. Why are we so? That is why Nigerian citizens are also to share the blame of bad governance in Nigeria. Because it is one thing to have good leaders and another thing to have good followers.
How do you say continuing having this power of the
Well, I think that has been the problem we are facing in Nigeria. Remember what I said, the politics has been monetized, it has been commercialized. If you have your money, you buy your way into the government. That's why somebody without money, no matter how good your ideas are, people will not take you serious. And until and unless this money politics is eliminated in Nigeria, good governance will continue to that benefit.
Political Science, Faculty of Management and Social Science. I wish to present this award of honor to Walan Abakari Amnakwada, the Secretary to the Zamfara State Government, in appreciation of his contribution toward the development of the department, the faculty, and the university at large. I want to present this, sir.